this is the next steps. These are the action items that we can take. So if anything is going to impact this, stopping this legislation, it's the impacts that it will have on businesses. It's critical that we reach out to local businesses that would be affected by people like not wanting to go shop in an outdoor mall because some guy with a long gun is going to be walking around, going to make them feel unsafe, or even if it's not open carry, you never know who might be there and have a weapon. We need to educate them, and we need to ask them how to help. So we have a petition. It's the first QR code in the agenda, links to an online petition. It's a Google form that they can fill out. All they need is their name, their contact information. They click submit. So think about the, oh, and I have a hard copy of it if you want to pass it around and just see what the language says. All we need to do is the places that you normally go. Take this QR code, talk to the people, an ice cream shop, kids go after school, any place that you normally go, places that you know the proprietor and you think might be open to hearing this, people whose businesses might be impacted. And then, you know, show them the petition and say, would you be able to go on the record and say, I am not in favor of this? We're also going to be reaching out to our local chambers of commerce because that's a way to reach a lot of businesses all at once. If any of you guys have links to personal connections with the Chamber of Commerce where you live or work, please feed that information back to us, and then we'll reach out to them and have maybe schedule a meeting if you want to be part of that, but have a more robust conversation with them about other things they can do besides individual businesses also submitting this petition. One group in particular that we really need to include in this effort, and actually include as kind of condescending, they're going to be key to this effort, are people who do firearm training and live fire training especially, or people that do any kind of firearm training, whether it's for the permitting process or not. But the people who do this is their livelihood, they train people so they can get their concealed carry permits, are going to go out of business. And they understand how important this is. Actually, some of them have already been quoted in media stories about this. One guy said, it's not the same thing as shooting into a box in your backyard. I'm like, wow, that's what people are gonna do, and they're gonna say, yes, I had live fire training. So we already are in contact with a few of those places. If you know any others, other places also which their livelihood is dependent on people using firearms safely, like security companies, or I just saw this one woman on LinkedIn, she runs a company that does active shooter response training. Like all the people who are on the other side of gun violence and understand the risks of untrained and unvetted people having access to weapons, those are potential allies in this fight. And they understand the costs maybe better than some of us do. Of course, we also need to keep calling and writing our state reps and senators. There's a link, there's a bit.ly link on the agenda. Every town has a real super easy form that you can fill out and send. You can read the text of it before you click send. Just go to that link and it'll take you right to the form, and you just send a message. Now, it just goes to the Broward people that are already on board, but it's all the incoming stuff that the legislators get shows them where people stand on issues. If they don't hear anything, they're like, well, my constituents don't care about it, one way or the other. So even though they know where we stand, it's good to have a bunch of people flooding their inboxes, and then they can see the level of concern in the community. And the last thing we can do is to submit letters to the editor, which is a great way to communicate with a much wider group in the community than our personal contact network. Just the community newspaper, HOAs, whatever, in addition to like the Broad or the Sun Sentinel or whatever. And Susan, we have a lot of guidelines about this, and Susan has more information on letters to the editor.
Thank you, Beth.